Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. I hope that you all are doing fine. Alright, today I'm going to guide you all on how to answer the problem-based questions on the topic of sale of goods. Alright, before this, you have learned on the systematic ways to answer the problem-based questions on contract law. Okay, so basically under the sale of goods, we still using the same formula of ILAC: issue, law, application, and conclusion. But what make it a difference here is based on the topic concerned here. Okay, since under law of contract, you will be assessed on the elements of contract, okay, as you done before this, on the, for example, on the intention to create legal relation, invitation to trade, what else, the considerations, adequacy of considerations, and so on. Okay, but for sale of goods, the main concern of subtopic that may be what I can say that is very important for ILAC is on implied terms. Okay, implied terms. Alright. So now, okay, as I mentioned before, you have to answer the problem-based question based on ILAC. This is the only formula that we use, okay, for problem-based question. Okay, before we start our discussions, you need to read the question. Okay, you need to understand, okay, and to try to figure out what is the main problems in the question. Right, the question is, Orchid ordered 5 bottles of whitening and anti-aging facial cream based on catalogue she received from Cantik Selalu. After making the required payment, she received a parcel from Cantik Selalu. However, she was upset to find out that instead of whitening and anti-aging facial cream, as stated in the catalogue, the parcel delivered to her contained tanning lotions. Advance okay on her rights as a buyer under the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay, the first thing to do is to identify the parties in the situations. Who is seller and who is buyer? So Orchid here is buyer. Okay, Orchid is buyer and Cantik Selalu is seller. So what is the problem between them? Okay, Orchid ordered 5 bottles of whitening and anti-aging facial cream, but later she received a parcel from the seller, the tanning lotions. So we may draw the early conclusions that she might receive the wrong products. So what she's going to do? What will be her rights as a buyer under sale of goods? Right. So here is the suggested answer on how you answer the situation, the question according to ILAC. Okay. Alright. So please start your answer with issue. Right. So the possible issue, the relevant issue should be whether Orchid has right to take legal action against Cantik Selalu under the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay. Basically, the issue is coming out from the question. Okay, so this is an example of the issue that you can do. But make sure that your issue is sound relevant. So you may extract from the situation. Please make sure that in your issue you have write the name of the buyer and then the name of seller Cantik Selalu and state the legislation. Sale of Goods Act 1957. Simple issue. Okay, simple issue is sufficient as long as it is relevant. Okay, for law, next paragraph is law. Alright, yes, same as before, under law of contract, first thing that you have to define. Okay, so under sale of goods, you have to define sale of good contract based on section 4, subsection 1 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957. So it defines a contract of sale as a contract whereby the seller transfers or agrees to transfer the property in goods to the buyer for a price. So this is actually the definitions of sale of goods contract. Okay, so property in goods, as I already mentioned in recording lectures, property in goods here refer to ownership. Okay, ownership. Alright, so please start with a definition of the main topic. Okay, and then this is the main ingredients of the law. Okay, section 15. Why? Because this situation is related to implied term. Okay, we have so many implied terms in the Sale of Goods Act 1957, but for each problem-based question, you just choose only one implied term. Choose the best implied term. Like in this situation, it concerns with section 15. Implied condition that in a sale of goods by descriptions, the goods must correspond with the description. Okay, why this sections is relevant? Okay, please refer the first sentence here. Okay, Orchid ordered 5 bottles of whitening and anti-aging facial cream based on a catalogue she received from Cantik Selalu. So catalogue meaning that, okay, please order or okay, enter into contract based on descriptions. Okay, based on description. Okay, this is not face-to-face contract. Okay, but she ordered goods based on descriptions. So based on section 15, there is an implied condition that, okay, when you bought goods under descriptions, the goods must correspond with the description. In other words, apa yang you order, itulah yang sepatutnya you dapat from the seller. Okay, so you must explain the relevant implied term. Remember, one issue, one implied term only. So remember, class, implied term can be implied condition or implied warranty. Okay, but you may refer to the implied terms. Okay, from section 14, from section 14 to section 17 in Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay, next your explanation. Sale of goods by description covers all cases where the buyer has seen or has not seen the goods but is relying on the description alone. So it doesn't matter if you dah sempat tengok goods tu, okay, ataupun you belum tengok. Okay, so what is the effects if the seller breach section 15? Buyer may terminate the contract and claim for damages. Remember, as I already explained in the recording lectures, this is the effects of breach of implied conditions. Okay, implied condition. So implied conditions, it has a major impact, okay, due to breach of implied conditions. So buyer may choose to terminate the contract and then can claim for damages. Okay, example of case to be discussed here is, okay, you please state and discuss the general rule of the case in section 15. Okay, so since it concerns with section 15, so you have to discuss case under section 15. Alright, so just discuss one case only. Okay, example of case for section 15 is Nagodas Prosecution Das and Co. against Mitsubishi Kasha Limited. So what is the general rule found in this case? Okay, you just provide the general rule of the case, not the full. But so in this case, the goods did not comply with the description because the flour identical in quality was delivered to the buyer, but it did not bear the same well-known trademark as ordered. Okay, so what happened in this case is that buyer ordered goods based on the same trademark, but later when she received goods, the goods did not bear the same well-known trademark. Okay, meaning there is a breach of implied conditions that the good must correspond with the descriptions. Okay, alright. Next is your application. Okay, your application is that is actually to tell the examiner that you understood the situation falls under SOGA. This is your arguments. Okay, and you may include the brief summary of the situations. Okay, for example, based on the situation, there was a contract of sale by descriptions between Orchid and Cantik Selalu when she ordered 5 bottles of whitening and anti-aging facial cream based on catalogue she received from Cantik Selalu. So here is the brief summary of the situation. Okay. However, when she received the goods from Cantik Selalu, it was found out that instead of whitening and anti-aging facial cream as stated in the catalogue, the parcel received containing lotion. So she received different products. Okay, so here your argument. The goods delivered to her will not correspond with the descriptions, and Cantik Selalu has breach of implied conditions stated under section 15 of the Acts. So it's very simple. Okay, you must mention what are the problems, okay, that faced by Orchid in the situations. So whether there is a breach of implied condition. Okay, so please include in your applications. Okay, so you have to apply the law section 15 and must include this statement to show the effect when the seller delivered the wrong goods to the buyer. You must include this argument. Okay, and conclusion must answer your issue. Since there was a breach of implied condition in the sale of goods by descriptions, Orchid has right to take legal action against Cantik Selalu under the Sale of Goods Act 1957. In addition, she may terminate the contract and claim for damages against Cantik Selalu. So when will you get this? Okay, just now you have stated the effects of breach of implied conditions. So now here are the rights given to Orchid as buyer. Okay, so you must state the rights that are available to buyer, which can be considered as your advice to Orchid. Okay, remember, if there is a breach of implied condition, buyer may terminate and claim for damages. But if there is only breach of warranty, buyer cannot terminate the contract, but buyer can claim for damages only. Okay, the most important is you have to identify the correct implied terms in the situation. Okay, so after this, I give you one sample question for you to do during your tutorial sessions. Okay, so read the situation carefully and try to find the issues there. Okay, remember issue dia tak akan sama lah, not under section 15. Okay, so I hope that you're clear with my explanation, okay, my guidance here. Alright, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me, okay, for further explanation. Thank you guys. Assalamualaikum.